Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense, in quite an introspective and spiritual mood today, so it's the perfect time to do a video I've been meaning to do. It's gonna be a bit meta and awesome, guys, so I want to elaborate on holistic bodybuilding. What makes it different to regular bodybuilding? Well, as the name suggests, it's a larger practice. We work on not just our body, but on ourselves as a person, building a person, body, mind, and soul. And that's quite spiritual, right? And I could go on and on about why bodybuilding specifically is spiritual. You're literally manifesting a certain body, and we all know spiritual people are big on manifesting, right? But today I want to focus more on the actual training practice and moving with the body. And of course that goes for your gym training, like the program you follow to actually build muscle. But to really hammer down the point about how holistic bodybuilding isn't just about building a physique that looks a certain way, I wanted to use as an example a different practice that I do that's great exercise, but it's just not something that would get you jacked if that's all you did. And that's my Mace practice. So guys, how you do anything in life is how you do everything in life. And that just means that, because if you think about it too much intellectually, you're just going to be, no, but this thing I do like that. But it just means that the constant in your life and everything you do is you. So there's going to be little traits and tendencies about you that influence everything you do. And that means that you can spot them in anything you do, work on them in anything you do, so it affects everything you do. You understand? So a couple of examples about myself that I'm sure many people can relate to on some level is that I notice that I tend to rush and speed and optimize things, feel like they had to be so as efficient as possible. And I notice that I can use a lot of willpower and force to accomplish things when that's necessary. And so to talk about the upside to this is of course that I can be efficient, optimize and solve things in an efficient and fast way. And when willpower and just you're having to use a lot of force is necessary, that's not something that keeps you back. I'm able to do it. But also using more speed and just stressing yourself up more than you have to when there's really no time pressure, for instance, then it's just an energy leak. Same thing, if there's something that could be done using a lot less force, that's just a waste of energy, using too much force. And even you can actually work against what you want to do. For instance, if you're trying to do something fast, you're moving so fast and stressing yourself out, you get tunnel vision, and now you hit something and break it, have to spend this time cleaning it up, and you're actually slower in the end. Same thing, if there's something, you apply too much force. If you were just patient and were a little bit more careful, you would have solved it, or could have at least waited until later, but now you used too much force and you actually broke the thing. Now it's not even on the table, right? So the point is not that force or speed is good or bad, it's that we want just the right amount. Not too little, not too much, just the right amount. And so the Mace practice is amazing for this. So let me just talk about why I do it first, because I've been asked by it, what's the purpose of it? And honestly, the reason I got the Mace was that when I saw it, I just felt like doing that. It just seemed like something that would be interesting and fun to do. So don't forget that, guys. You can actually want to do things, even things that take effort. But then to just get that out of the way, the actual physical benefits is that, it's kind of a whole body movement, working coordination, have to stabilize with the core and even hips a little bit, but mainly it's shoulder and wrist conditioning. But I see this now as a practice in life. How you do anything is how you do everything. And it applies so well in this scenario that you have to apply just the right amount of force. Because this is a big... it's not a super heavy object, but the shape of it makes it so that the position it's in influences how heavy it is, quote unquote, like in relation to you. Where is it and in what direction is it moving currently? Because we can make the Mace do a lot of work for us. That's how life works, guys. There's a certain flow all the time, the circadian rhythm even, that the sun rises and everything. Like we cannot do anything about that. We just have to... move accordingly, but we get to like we all get the day, for instance, but we can influence how we spend the day. So a good example for force and flow is that you're sitting on a leaf in a river and you have to just go with the flow. And if you start trying to force, where you go, you might even fall in, or might end up some completely different. But you can gently steer, put the hand in and somehow influence where you end up with the flow, right? And so that's what we want to do with the mace. We have to use some force, right? I couldn't even lift it up if I used literally zero force, right? But then I can just get completely in my way and hurt myself even if I use force at the wrong time, or I just make the movement way, 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 way heavier than it has to. So the point here is just to find the perfect amount of flow. I want to read some things I actually sent to a client, Aaron, my man. I respect and keep my client's privacy if they've asked for it, but Aaron comments on my video, so I shout out because I had this video in mind, but he reminded me, pushed me in that direction, so I sent him some notes before this video. So yes, this is what I wrote. A practice in life. Effort/flow. Putting my hand in the stream, quote unquote, only as much as I have to, and then ride the current as much as possible. Amount of force applied, speed, timing, not too much, not too little, just enough. And of course, there are things here that I have to know and learn from this movement when the timing is and such, right? So I said that when it comes to the pure physical focus, you might need more cues as a beginner, but these were my main ones during the sesh. And of course, I sent him a video of a previous session, but it's just days ago. It's still the same things I think about. So almost brushing my ear with the arm on the side, I drop from the top. So if I hold the mace in front of me, I'm gonna drop it to the left. I wanna move the left arm up and almost touch my ear there, because that's just the most efficient place to move, right? And at the right time, I want to kind of swing forward as if I'm catching it at the bottom, I said. I barely have to think of it now, but it's like a wood chopper move with the right timing. Straight forward with the shoulders. But something I didn't write to him actually, but there's a new cue for me. I do that with the shoulders, but with the wrists, I kind of embrace to let the mace do a little bit more of a circle, you know. And then moving out of the mace, quote unquote, as I drop it back, and moving back in as I catch it. So this would mean shifting body weight to the right as I start dropping the mace to the left, and then back. Then there's this sort of wrist cue to just try to hold the mace steady as I start to fatigue and not think I can control it to stop. So this is really at the start, when you're not as fatigued in the wrist, you can, like at the middle between reps, you can steer the mace with the wrist, but it exhausts the wrists a lot, and you can use a lot of that. So this moving in and out of the mace cue as I put forward, if you trust that one, you just kind of move your arms with your shoulders instead of using your wrists, you save a lot of energy there. So I said I instead trust that cue. Before this one, I just keep the momentum alive that way. So what made this all meta now is that I'm under time pressure. I had to go out and do the recording. I had to record this speaker. I had to cook and eat food. So I'm ready with all of this and can have client calls right after this. And we'll actually start in 3 minutes, my first call. So I had to practice all of this because, you know, it's good that I can rush and everything. But if I do it too fast, I've done it too fast and had to restart some recordings here, for instance. The meta thing that I alluded to at the start is just that I have to practice this still, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So I just wanted to give you a little peek into my actual holistic bodybuilding, not just the jacked and stacked physique, you know, actually start showing you guys what it's all about. So starting to explore it, please comment, please, because I can talk about the things I think about literally during my more bodybuilding training too, right? But be very curious to hear your input, guys, and if there's anything you do that you want to share with us. And I do holistic bodybuilding coaching, as I told you. You can just send me a DM on Instagram or email me, and I'll get back to you with my different options. Pick up my training book and become a Patreon for more exclusive content that is a little bit more in this format, just longer. $8 per month give you access to everything. And please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset, guys. Person building. Peace.
Vad elegant.
Förlåt?
Vad elegant, sa jag.
Ja, tack.
Jag tänkte, har vi fått en staty där?
Ja, äsch. Försöker. Ja, allt möjligt. Det här just nu bygger ju inte muskler framförallt.
Hur gör vi med det?
Här. Ja, så det är en övning i lite precision och balans och timing och sådär.
Borde filmas.
Ja, jag gör ju det.
Alltså du gör det? Är det filmkamera där?
Ja, alltså här på stativet. Jag har en YouTube-kanal och sådär. Jag har en YouTube-kanal och jag är tränare och coach och sådär också. Så.
Hur söker man den då?
Den heter Uncommonsens.
Uncommon,
Sense. Alltså tänk som common sense. Fast...
ovanliga vänner.
Ja?
Ovanliga vänner.
Nej, alltså uncommon sense. Som osunt förnuft hette det först på svenska. Common sense is uncommon. Sunt förnuft.
Ja, lycka till.
Ja, tack du. Ha det bra. So yeah, I know I've already done the whole outro thing, but it lined up best this way, and I wanted to keep the little Easter egg with the older fellow interviewing me in. But at this point, I've calibrated the movement and calibrated myself with the Mace much better. Now I can use as much flow and as little effort as possible. Like if you think of sets earlier, I felt much more fatigue, and here, even though I'm doing quite a bit of reps, I feel way less because I just have to use less effort. So I just burnt out 10 reps in one direction, 10 in the other, and then just back and forth one at a time until it burnt quite a bit in the forearms mainly. I train grip and forearms today. But yeah, guys, that was not only a practice in using the Mace, but a practice in life. I practiced going about doing things the exact way I want to go about doing life. Think about that, my friends. Think about how you do things, because that's how you do everything. Peace.